something strange is happening at Tesla, and almost nobody is talking about it. For months, Elon Musk could not stop posting about Optimus, calling it the most valuable product his company would ever build. Then suddenly, the videos stopped. The demos got quieter, the reveal got pushed back again, and the man who never shuts up about his robot went unusually silent. Think about that for a second. This is a man who live tweets rocket launches, who announces new features before his own engineers have even finished building them, who treats silence like an enemy. Yet on the one product he has personally called more important than the entire car business, he suddenly chose to say almost nothing. That contrast alone should make you suspicious. If you are new here, welcome. And if you want more breakdowns like this one before anyone else covers them, hit that subscribe button right now, because what you are about to hear might change how you see Tesla's entire robot strategy. This is not a story about Optimus failing. It is a story about a company that promised the world a robot revolution, then quietly rewrote every single deadline it gave us. By the end of this video, you will understand exactly why Tesla went quiet, and whether that silence should worry investors more than any bad headline ever could. Let's rewind to where this all started. In January 2025, Musk told the world Tesla would build roughly 10,000 Optimus robots within the year. It was a bold number, the kind of number that made headlines and sent Tesla's stock chatter into overdrive. Investors were told this was the next trillion-dollar product, bigger than the car business itself. Fast forward to January 2026, and the truth landed with a thud. Musk admitted that 0 Optimus robots were doing any useful work inside Tesla's own factories. Not a handful, not a pilot batch, 0. That is the moment the tone around Optimus started to shift from excitement to caution. It is worth sitting with how big that admission actually was. This was not a random employee or a leaked internal memo. It was the CEO himself, on the record, confirming that a flagship product had produced nothing measurable in a full year. Analysts who had built valuation models assuming meaningful robot output by early 2026 suddenly had to rip those numbers out. For a stock that partly trades on the promise of a trillion-dollar robot business, admitting 0 useful output is not a small correction, it is a foundational one. Then came the Gen 3 reveal. The version Tesla promised would finally prove the doubters wrong. It was supposed to arrive in the first quarter of 2026, showcasing a new hand design and being the first Optimus built specifically for mass production. Musk pushed it back, then pushed it back again, eventually landing on a vague window of the middle of the year. Each delay chipped away a little more at the grand narrative Tesla had been selling. On March 31st, Musk finally gave an update, and it told us a lot without saying much. He confirmed Optimus 3 was walking around Tesla's offices on its own, a genuine technical milestone. But he also said it needed finishing touches before it could be shown to the public, language that sounded reassuring and evasive at the same time. That single sentence became the moment the public narrative around Optimus quietly changed. To be fair, Gen 3 is not nothing. Tesla says this version will have hands with 22 degrees of freedom, a far more natural walking gait, and an AI brain adapted from the same neural networks powering full self-driving in the cars. Musk has called it the most advanced humanoid robot in the world, ahead of Boston Dynamics, Figure AI, and every Chinese competitor. The long-term pricing target sits somewhere between $20,000 and $30,000 per unit, a number meant to make Optimus cheap enough for mass adoption, though early units will almost certainly cost far more than that. Around the same time, Musk offered a rare piece of honesty about why Tesla had gone so quiet. He admitted the company was becoming more secretive on purpose, worried that competitors were studying every frame of Optimus footage and copying the engineering. In an industry moving as fast as humanoid robotics, that concern is not unreasonable. But it also conveniently doubles as cover for a program that keeps missing its own deadlines. And the competition Musk was worried about is not standing still. At China's Spring Festival Gala in January 2026, Unitree's robots performed martial arts, aerial flips, and trampoline stunts without any human backup control. Nearly 90% of all humanoid robots sold globally in 2025 came from Chinese manufacturers, with 6 of the top-selling companies based there. While Tesla was explaining delays, rivals were already shipping thousands of units into the real world. It is not just China either. Figure AI has been quietly placing robots inside real BMW manufacturing lines, choosing a slower but more provable path than Tesla's flashy demos. Norway's 1X has opened pre-orders for its own humanoid robot, with customer deliveries already scheduled for this year. Every one of these companies is trying to win the same race Tesla claims it is destined to dominate, and several of them are already further along in real-world deployment. Then there is the factory story, which is arguably the biggest and least discussed part of this whole saga. Tesla announced it would end production of the Model S and Model X, cars that defined the company for over a decade, just to free up floor space at the Fremont factory for Optimus. Musk called it an honorable discharge for vehicles that built Tesla's empire in the first place. That is not a small decision. It is a company betting its most historic production line on a robot that has not yet proven it can do a single job reliably at scale. During the Q1 2026 earnings call, Musk laid out the new plan, and it was noticeably more careful than his usual style. Optimus production at Fremont would begin in late July or August, just 4 months after the last Model S and X rolled off the line. He refused to give any production target for the year, calling the whole thing literally impossible to predict, and said early skills would be limited to simple factory tasks. Compare that humility to the 10,000-unit promise from just 1 year earlier, and the gap becomes impossible to ignore. There is also a second factory in the works, this one at Giga, Texas, aimed at the higher-volume Gen 4 version of the robot. Construction is underway, but Musk himself said meaningful production there will not start until around summer 2027. That means the timeline for Optimus becoming a real revenue driver keeps sliding further into the future every time Tesla gives an update. For a company whose stock valuation increasingly depends on the robotics story, that slippage matters far more than casual fans realize. So why has Tesla actually gone silent? It is not one single reason, it is 3 colliding at once. First, the technology genuinely is not ready to be shown off without embarrassing comparisons to faster-moving Chinese competitors. Second, Tesla is protecting its engineering from being reverse-engineered by rivals who are watching every public demo frame by frame. Third, and maybe most importantly, the company badly needs time to quietly reset expectations after 2 straight years of missed targets. And then there are the claims that make even loyal Tesla fans raise an eyebrow. Musk has described Optimus as a potential solution to global poverty, capable of providing universal high-income opportunities and even performing superhuman surgery someday. He has compared it to a self-replicating probe capable of generating over $10 trillion in revenue, eventually making up 80% of Tesla's entire valuation. Those are not small predictions. They are civilization-scale promises attached to a robot that, by Musk's own admission, was doing zero useful work just months earlier. The bigger the promise, the more painful it becomes every time the timeline slips. None of this means Optimus is dead, and it would be lazy to frame it that way. Tesla has real engineering progress, a robot that can walk autonomously, hands with far more degrees of freedom, and a manufacturing plan that at least sounds more grounded than before. But the gap between Musk's headline promises and Tesla's actual delivery record is now impossible to ignore, and that gap is exactly why the company has gone quiet instead of loud. Silence in this case is not confidence. It is damage control dressed up as patience. So, here is the real question worth sitting with. Is Tesla's silence a sign of a company disciplining itself after years of overpromising? Or is it the first crack in a robotics story that was always more marketing than machine? Drop your take in the comments, because this debate is only going to get louder as summer production deadlines approach. If you want the next update the moment Tesla breaks its silence again, subscribe now so you do not miss it. And I will see you in the next one.